this is the final material that that you can see here. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of masks going on. So we have damage mask, where we have like patches on the walls, and then also we have like a dirt mask. I tried to adjust the dirt mask that it's basically where people can still touch it, and things can, you know, like scratch the walls and whatnot. So it's going to be dirtier, that area. And you can actually create another dirt mask that is like way lower and then make it like full dirt. So that's another idea that you can do. And also we have a kind of like a variation mask. As you can see, we have different color patches here and here. Okay, so basically this is what we wanted, right? We wanted a large asset that we have to, you know, texture, but we want it to be, we don't want it to be repetitive, but we also want it to be really high quality. So if my player walks up close, then it can see all the details there, and it's not going to be pixelated, and it's not going to be repetitive. So now obviously you can do this on the wood, you can do this on the other brick, you can do this on the glass, and on every single texture here. And why is it good? It's because if you have a large asset like this, you can basically just have one material and then just drag and drop it on this texture, on this big asset, and it auto generates all these procedural damages and like masks and everything. So I'm gonna show you how the mask looks, how the material looks. So this is it basically. As you can see, we are working with two different texture sets. We are working with a texture set that is going to be the damaged texture. For the base color, I'm using something like a just a color value, because it was really dark and I thought it just use this. And another texture set is basically the brick wall, the tiles. So that's it, two texture sets. So I have renamed these for you. I don't know the exact name of these masks because I'm not really looking at any reference or any other forums that they have that have masks. I'm using, like, I'm saying soft variation mask because I wanted to achieve a soft variation in the color of the texture. So that's why I named this soft variation mask. So as you can see, if I put this in, you can see just the noise map that is pretty large in scale, and it has really smooth edges, so it has a gradient towards the other color. And why we need this is we will lerp two textures together, not two textures, two variations of a texture together. So one is going to be a little darker than the other or a little brighter than the other. So we will see this natural variation in the color. Like maybe like some areas of this castle aged differently than other areas, sort of say. So it has like color variation. So that's what we use this for, what I use it for. The other mask is the destruction mask, which I use after the color variation mask or the soft variation mask, which is going to be these patches. I'm just going to drag and drop these out there, which is going to be these patches here. That is going to be that just fully depends on your project and what the story behind this building is, or that building your what you want to texture. Because for me, I wanted to make it a little bit damaged, a little bit distracted, because whatever, like 1,000 reasons you can figure out, but it will look a little closer to reality if you add these damages. And as you can see, somewhere it has a sharp edge and somewhere it has like a soft gradient edge. So that also depends on you and how you like it. You can make it that everywhere it's sharp, and you can make it that everywhere it's soft. I would say I recommend you use everywhere sharp, or like most of the places are sharp edges, because it will look better. So that was the destruction mask, and now we go to the damage mask, which sound kind of similar, but the difference, as you can see, So this is the destruction mask, just to have a look at it again. And then if I put it to the damage mask, as you can see, it's on the bottom now. So this mask is a little larger, because as you can see, we're looking at the dark spots, not the white spots now. What I want to make here is like buildings tend to get more damaged over time on the bottom, because everything is moving there, you know, like you're moving there, pedestrians are moving there, like you can easily damage the building. So we have a mask that separates the bottom of the whole structure here, and then we lerp another mask on it in that area that can simulate the damages that this building has. And also we have a dirt mask that we applied the last, and it's going to be just a gradient from down to up. So on the z-axis on the blue channel, I use this mask to simulate like mud and like dirt on the building, because again, this is where pedestrians can touch the building, they can pour something on it, they can piss on it at night. So like this is that kind of area where you just gotta have it separated from everything else, and you just want to apply a dirt mask there. So let's jump into it, and let's see how we can apply these masks. So I'm going to just pretty much probably delete everything here. Let's start with the color variation mask. So we had our basic texture set, right? We have the brick base color, we have the brick ambient, we have the brick roughness, and then we have the brick normal map. Now we could connect the specular channel here, but I'm not going to do that because I will have to move this node anyways, so it's just going to be annoying. So now if you were to just use this texture, it would be really repetitive, as you can see. So what we do first is really exciting. We get the soft variation mask that I created, and I'm going to show you how. You get an absolute vert position, which is vert position, and enter. And then you separate it with a component mask, and then you, as you can see, it's RNG and B. So you separate the RNG, and then you copy this mask, and you just untick these and tick the blue. So you just separate the blue and the R and the G. Then you so this why I'm separating it is because I want to offset the blue mask, the blue coordinate. You can offset the R, you can offset the green, it doesn't really matter. I love to offset the blue channel, and what this does is basically gets the vert position of the mask, and then it just offsets it, pushes it away or a little further. For me, it's a big number. It's 15,000, maybe. Yeah, it's 15,000. And that way, if I would ever use this particular noise that has the same settings like this, then it wouldn't line up with this soft variation mask, because although it's the same mask, although it has the same settings, and although it has the same seed, this is offsetted by a large number. So it's basically we created another seed out of nowhere, right? So I recommend you use this, but it's not necessarily, but I recommend you use this. So yeah, and then we append it back together. So we created from 3 vector, we created 2 vector, and then we appended it back to 3 vector, and that's what we use for the noises position, which is just a basic noise that you can. Oh, also this is just an add, right? So just add. If you are not familiar with the notes, it's just a math add. And this is just noise. So for the noise, the settings, I use 0.0005. Okay? And everything else is pretty much basic. I think the levels is 6 by default. I put it up to 8. And then we basically never changed anything else, but you can just copy these. And then we saturate it, because if you do not saturate it, then some values will go to negative, and that can create like colorations in the texture, like blue and purple-ish, red-ish colors that we just don't want, so we always saturate it. Yeah, I learned this recently. So you just want to saturate it, and then you want to use this as an alpha of a lerp mask, which is just L and click, or you just type lerp, and it's linear interpret node here. And now we are going to use with our main texture that we use for the base color right now. We want, if you don't know how to verdeline a texture, then check out my other tutorial, because I have it right there. But it's basically just convert it to texture coordinate and just plug it in and use a value for the texture size. So we connect it to the B channel, and then we connect the same thing to an add node, and we add a color that we want. Now, keep this in mind. If you wanna darken something, then you multiply a color on it. If you wanna lighten something, then you add a color to it. So I wanted to lighten the spots, so I add that color to the material, because add removes all the dark values from the object, or from the color here. So, and this is what we are going to linearly interpret, and then we're just going to plug it into the base color, and let's see what we did. As you can see, it's less boring. We have that nice color variation, and this is what I'm talking about. If you open up this color, the darker I get, the less difference you can see, and the brighter I get, the brighter the material will be right there. So if I want to lighten up some spots, I add it. And it was somewhere like here, I believe. I think what you should do, you should come like out here so you can see a big portion of your building, and like get it where it's disturbingly bad, and then softly decrease this number till a point where you can't really tell the difference because your eyes got used to it. So it's, for me, it's basically this one. And don't worry, the people will see this difference. You don't have to announce the color variation change. They will see the difference. They just have to feel it. And now if I revert it, you can see a big change. Look at it. You see? Again. So yes, people will see it, people will notice it. Subconsciously, they will think this is not repetitive. So you want to do this. Trust me. Okay. So this was for the soft variation. We did not lerp any of the ambient occlusion, roughness, and height map, nor the normals, because we don't need to. We just wanted to have a little color variation right there. So next mask is going to be the destruction mask. And for the destruction mask, we want to use another texture set, because we want to lerp two different texture types together, two different texture sets together, because we want to reveal what's underneath the bricks, right? So we want to reveal like this concrete area that is underneath the bricks, or not really underneath the bricks. Let's say it's. It kind of feels, to me, it kind of feels like the bricks were damaged and people on ladders were trying to like patch it up and like fix it, and that's what it feels. So we get this destruction mask, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. So we have two different noises, but they are quite similar. First thing what you want to do is you want to create a noise. So you press tab, you type noise, and that's ours. So I use 0, 0, 0, 1. So 3 zeros and 1, and I use the mod for a function Voronoi, because this creates like little spots in it, or the whole noise is little spots basically. And I use the same texture, but a larger scale, or a smaller scale. Sorry. So this is not 3 zeros, but 4 zeros and 5. So this was 3 zeros 1, and this is 4 zeros 5. Okay. And then you basically want to contrast it. These are the edges, basically. So how hard the edges should be. So if I plug this in, then you can see we have like nice edges. But if I bypass that node, then you can see we have like this gradient, which doesn't really look right if it comes to destruction. So yeah, basically you just use a cheap contrast node, which is, I don't know if I showed you, but you basically just cheap contrast and you just press enter. And then you press, you connect a value, a high value to the cheap contrast, and you do the same thing, right? You do the same thing again, but with a lower value. And then you lerp these two with a black. And I'm gonna tell you why. What this does before the lerping is that this creates these spots, but we have a lot of fucking spots, and you can't really modify the noise where you have less spots, but with the same scale. So if you like these scales here in the spots, then you got to somehow solve how you can have less spots here, because if you make the noise scale larger or smaller, the spots will become larger and smaller. So it's a little tricky. So we use another mask that is way bigger. So we have way bigger areas. Let me show you. So this is going to be the bigger mask. And then we are going to basically tell the material that only the white spots can have those little spots, right? So we just connect a pure black to the vector the zero to channel 0 to the A channel, and then we connect the noise we just created to the second channel. So now with this, only the white spots will have smaller white spots. So as you can see there. So now we kept the sizes of the spots, but we reduced the amount of the spots here. So that's a neat little trick you kind of have to know, because it helps you a lot. You just create lerp nodes for the base color, the ambient occlusion, or how many channels you have, the roughness channel, and the normal. We just did that. We connect these. This goes to the normal, this goes to the ambient occlusion, this goes to the roughness, and this goes to your base color. Now note that these might go different places on your screen because you have different channels. On my screen, this is the base color, this is the ambient, this is the roughness, and this is the normal. And now we are going to put another texture set to the B color. This is the ambient occlusion, this is the roughness, and this is the normal right there. And then we get this destruction mask, and then we hook up all the alpha channels. So now, if I press apply, like remember this spot here, as you can see, we replaced those black and white spots with the brick texture and the patched up surface here, where it would, you know, be damaged for like a couple of months, and people would try to get a ladder and just fix it up, like cover it with something. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff, but it just looks right to me. So next mask is going to be our damage mask. Nice, very nice. As we saw earlier, the damage mask is going to be the damage on the bottom of the building. So first, for this mask, we have to find the bottom of this building, right? Now this is where it gets tricky, because every single time you will have this value different, because it depends on how large your asset is. So this is how you have to imagine this. Imagine the whole asset, right? And you know those funky collisions when the software draws a cube around your model. So it just draws a cube around my structure here. So that's how you have to imagine it. You imagine a cube, and then we get that cube, and we will tell that cube that everything on the Z channel that is X coordinate is going to be black, or below x coordinate is going to be black, and everything that is above x coordinate on the z channel is going to be white. So that number will be different for every single asset you create. So that's kind of bad, but you can basically figure it out really easily with an offset. I'm gonna show you how. So first you wanna get, this is where it starts. You wanna get a bounding box. So how do you do that? You press tab and you type bounding and you get the coordinates. Then you want to, so this is the cube, this is the thing that draws a cube around our structure here. And then we want to say, as I said, we want to get that cube's blue, so Z channel, and then we want to draw, this is basically, this is going to be a gradient from Z0 to Z1 or Z infinite, or Z1, sorry, I'm stupid. So Z0, that is the bottom, and the gradient till the top, that is Z1. So this is going to be a gradient from bottom to top. So we are going to use a cheap contrast. However, you can see a multiply here, and I'm going to show you why. You get a cheap contrast, you plug it into the blue channel, and then if I enable this, then you can see we have a gradient from bottom to top. So the top is very white, is pure white, and the bottom is pure black, and everything in between is going to gradually, you know, like turn into the other color. So now, this is with the contrast. Without the contrast, it's even more noticeable that it's a gradient. So now what we want to do is we want to offset this, because we want the black to be on the very bottom, and we want to have the whites or the gradient to be basically like smaller. I just don't know how to express this, but to shift this thing on the z-axis. So we connect it to the multiply node, and then if I multiply this by 1, you see nothing is going to happen. I'm just going to pan the camera so you can see here. So we multiply it with 1, you can see nothing is going to happen. If we multiply it by 5, look at this area here, and then we just apply it. Then as you can see, it's shifted down. So this is what we want. We want to shift this position where we want the dirt to end, right? The dirt mask to end. So we want to get this line to where people can still reach it. For me, this door is bigger than my character. So probably it would be like around the door, this line, which was around 30, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So this is a gradient, so it's going to be like, you know, noticeable there too, but still. But again, this is going to differ for you. Every single asset you make is going to differ. You have to figure it out. You have to just offset it one by one. Okay. So now we created this part. What am I doing? Oh yeah, now we created this part. What we are going to do is we are going to, so this is not the dirt, this is the damage area where the damage can happen, right? Because people can reach it and people can kick it and people can cause damage to this building. So we want to say that this is the area where I want to apply the damage, and I want another mask that is going to define where the damage is. So I just create, we create another noise mask that is again 0, 0, 0, 0, 5. So 4 zeros, 1, 5. Level 6, it's a simple texture and everything is default, I think. We get a cheap contrast with a 5 because we want the edges to be sharp and not, we don't want gradient. We saturate it because we always saturate it. And then after we saturated it, we want to lerp it with a white color. And I'll show you why. If you have this plugged in, you will see that we have those spots where we want to apply the damage, right? But we don't apply the damage up there, so we want to limit it. So we want to have that upper areas, right, white. So because we want the damage to be on the black parts. So what we want to do is want to get that white, and we want to tell the software, we want to tell Unreal Engine that we want this white color to be everywhere where this mask is white, right? So how we do that? We lerp this with this mask. White is the B channel, our noise is the A channel, and then what this does is basically as you can see, limits these damaged areas where the black line was. And then I 1- it because later on you will have to put things in the A channel, which I don't really want to be in the A channel, right? So if that doesn't confuse you, you don't have to 1- it, but I 1- it because my brain works like, I don't know, fucking weird. So that's the whole mask. So now again we create 4 lerp nodes, just like that. And then you can have another texture set that you lerp these with, right? Okay, let's do that actually. Let's have another texture set. So just so I can show you how to word align it. So I'm just going to import these to the material here. So how you can make it word aligned, you might ask. We create 3 things, 3 nodes. We create a word aligned. This will be our keyword, word aligned, and we just wanna say texture. So you just wanna find texture here. That's one. We wanna get word aligned separate channels, and then we wanna get word aligned and normal, like that. So now every single one of these has to be texture objects because you can't really connect it. So texture object, texture object, texture object. And then you can connect these. And now we want to have a float that is going to control our texture size. For the texture size, we can actually just get this material and then see how it works. Bam. And then I will start with 256, which I always start with. And then I connect every single texture size to this float number. Like that. You don't want to mess with the word position, you don't want to mess with anything else. Okay, so let's see. Come on, thank you. And now we want to use these. Oh, I'm so sorry, but this is going to be a spaghetti. We want to connect all these. So first of all, what we do is we have this damage mask. We connect every single alpha to this -1. Or 1-, sorry. And then we want to connect everything that we had, that is the base color, to the A channel. We want to connect up everything here. Ambient, roughness, base color. And then we want to do the same with this one. This is normal, but this goes to the go to the B channel. So this is the roughness, which is the G, and it's this one. This is the ambient occlusion, and this is the base color right there. So now if I press apply, we should see that this texture only appears on the bottom, like that. So yeah, now obviously it doesn't really belong here, but just for the sake of the tutorial, if you wanted to use a different texture for these spots, then you know this is how you can make them word aligned, and this is how you can do it. Let's have a dirt mask, because that's quite important, I would say, that we make the bottom area darker. That just gives a little bit of extra that I just like. Let's see how the dirt mask works. We again find the bounding box, so we again draw a cube around our structure here. Then we offset it again. As you can see, I offsetted it half the amount I offsetted it the other time. So I offset it again. Then we use a contrast, so it's not that gradient, but we still want it to be kind of, sort of gradient. And then we clamp it, and I'll show you why we clamp it. Here's the thing. If you were to use this, then if you have a the dirt texture that you want to use on the black areas, it's going to be only the dirt texture. But I want it semi-translucent, right? Because the dirt is not just pure as dirt and you just can't see anything else but dirt. So how dirt works is basically you just had these particles on that surface, so it makes the color a little dimmer. It reflects the light less. So these are the changes we want to make. So we don't want full black here because we want this to be dirty, not dirt, right? So I don't know if that makes sense for you. So we gotta clamp it, right? We don't want it to be as drastic. So we clamp it, and if I clamp it, you will see it's going to brighten up a little bit. That's all. That's you have to see. Yeah, well, also it fucks up the mask because we have minused it. So sorry for that. I know it's hard to imagine right now, but this is not white. This is kind of semi-white. So that's what we did. We just dimmed it down a little. Okay. Now, for the noise, oh, we don't even have a noise. Okay, so this is the dirt mask. So this is what we will have to lerp with something. And what I did, I believe in the previous one, is that we again create lerp nodes. Yeah, a lot of lerp nodes here. We want to connect everything to the H&R. That was the previous texture. This is the ambient occlusion, this is the roughness, and this is the normal. So for the normal, I would say you gotta have a dirt normal. But because I don't have one, I'm going to probably use something else. I'm gonna see if I have dirt. Well, oh, this is nice. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this normal for the dirt, but just imagine that you have a normal map for the dirt. So I connect it to the A channel. Oh, oops! I connect it to the B channel because this is the dirt normal. I connect the original normal to the A channel, and I connect the original roughness to the A channel. So for the roughness, now we solve the normals. You gotta have a dirt normal, or you just get a color combination that you like if you want it flat. I don't recommend doing that. And then we're going to create another color for the roughness, which is going to be, so black is really rough. Sorry, black is not rough at all. Black is really reflective, and white is really rough. So I want around 0.7. You can also connect the 0.7 constant here. So if you fancy this one, then you can do this. Because dirt is not so rough. I would say it's even, maybe it's even 8. And then for the ambient occlusion, we don't have anything, so that's just 0. And basically, or is it 1? And basically that's it. And also we want to have a dirt texture, which I'm going to just create here with the little ground color somewhere. Okay, so now we connect these to the alpha, every single alpha, like that. And now if I compile, as you can see, again, this normal map is not for the dirt, but hey. Again, as you can see, we have this kind of color variation here. If these were, I don't know, a little different. Let's see what we can do about this. Then what I could do is I could make these a little less noticeable, right? Or a little less destructive. So yeah, there you go. We have a lot of spots. We just save everything, and then we connect a 0.5 to the specular. This is the greatest hack ever, by the way. You just connect a 0.5 to the specular, and everything looks like 100 times better for some reason. And I just can't point out why or point my finger on it. But this is just how it just works, man. It just works. So here you are. This is the end product here. As you can see, if I walk up close, I can see a lot of details. I can see a lot of aging. I can tell that this building was like, you can maybe change these edges here with the contrast to be less sharp. But some places I like it. For example, here I like it, but for like, and here, maybe here I also like it. Here I don't like it at all. So this is really wonky. But as you can see, I can tell that this building was standing here for a very long time now, and it has been damaged over time, and it has aged a lot. So it tells me that it's not a new building. It tells me that it's a city that people live in because they damaged the wall, they pour shit on it and whatnot. So these are the tricks. These are the masks I use if I have to texture large scale assets and large scale models in order to preserve the performance, but also not have it really repetitive and not have it obviously one texture. Thanks for watching, and go and have fun with it. Go and make some nice assets. Go and create some nice ass castles and make a game with it so I can play with it. Okay? That's today's quote. Go make games, son. Thank you. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. If you don't, then don't. And goodbye. Bye.